I am here with Dr. Amir, and because I have a hard time with foreign languages, I'm going to not try and pronounce his name, but enjoy working with Dr. Amir in the College of Business and Management. And so, Amir, let's find out a little bit about you. How long have you been teaching at Colorado Technical University?
Oh, thank you very much, Lisa. Amir Al-Nizami. And I've been with Colorado Tech since, I believe, May of 2013.
Oh, wow.
So technically getting closer to 12 years. I uh, I started teaching on the campuses here in Colorado. I taught at the Aurora campus, and I taught at the Westminster campus, both of which actually have been transitioned or taught out at this point.
Wow, that goes back some distance. So
Fun memories, long time,
if
yes.
we need some historical information, you may have it, right? Is that
Oh my goodness, I have a bank of it.
okay, good. Good to know. You know where all the things are. So what do you enjoy most about teaching?
Oh, I have been inspired by a quote that I heard when I was very, very young. And it's a quote by a prophet. However, I don't know, either it's Moses or Muhammad. It said that if I wasn't a prophet, I would be a teacher.
Oh,
And I hear that ever since I was a very young boy. I kept hearing it over and over again. And it really groomed teaching in my mindset. And ever since I was a kid, I always knew exactly what I wanted to do. I would be honest with you. I think it was in the fourth grade that I started saying, I'm going to continue to study until I get a PhD in business or the
wow.
like, because I want to spend the rest of my life teaching. So that's how it all started. It inspired me to hear that in being told about a prophet who changed people's lives. And here in the College of Business and Management, we are all about forging, a legacy and changing people's lives. Well, prophets did that. And if a prophet said that if I wasn't a prophet, I would be a teacher, then that really taught me and it cultivated in my mindset the value of teaching others. It's through teaching is how you show others that you care, how you give back. It's through teaching is how you forge a legacy and how you change people's lives. And what a better reward than building a legacy full of people who would tell stories about you. And I hear that all the time. In fact, right now across from my house, I have a neighbor who happened to study a master's degree at CTU, and he was one of my students.
Oh,
I
wow.
never knew that. Exactly. I never
That's
knew that
cool.
until he moved into the house, and he's my neighbor now. And he's always calling Dr. Amir. He's always saying that. So the whole neighborhood now knows I'm a Dr. Amir.
I like that. That's pretty cool. And you teach project management. Do you have a quick little story about how you determined project management was your pathway?
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, my father was a project manager.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
He started his life as a project manager with the city I grew up in, and he became like the city, like one step below a mayor. He was in charge of the city after that. But I really learned from him project management. I remember when I was very young, I would ride with him in the morning specifically. We would leave, he would take me to school, but we would leave the house very early. And then he would go to project sites. And every
Oh,
project
wow.
site, he had a crew of people and he would I would stay in the car, of course, because sites would be dangerous, but I see him talk to people and he would point here and there and there. And when I would get home, I would see him at night, with these big maps and, and really that's where I got the project management. And after I finished my bachelor's degree at the University of Colorado, I got an entry-level job with a company. Then it was Dish Network. It was just a newly born company. And one day I was in operations, and one day the general manager came to me and said, "Hey, I have a small project for you if you're interested in managing it." That was the first time I heard about project management from when I was a kid. And so I took it and I immediately, how we learn language, the first 5 years of our lives, we probably will never say a word. And all of a sudden we started to talk. Well, it came all together to me. And this was back in 1998. And immediately, it wasn't even 2 months later that I said, you know what, I'm going back to go back to school to get a master's degree in project management. And
I
so
love
I launched my career in project management in 1990, at the end of 98. And then at the end of 2004, I had already gotten my MBA and master's in project management.
Wow, that's a great story. I have a similar, I mean, my dad was, he was in sales, which isn't necessarily marketing, but it's a subset of marketing. It's one of our promotional tools. So I can totally relate to your story because I got my interest from riding around with my dad. Yeah, seeing what he did. Maybe that's why I need to inspire my children. I need to make them ride with me more and do things with me. But
It
what do
stays
you
with
hope
me.
to, speaking of inspire, what do you hope to inspire in your students? I know that's a big question.
Oh my goodness. Lisa, I'll tell you, just sitting in the classroom, and by the way, it doesn't have to be physical because I know you're like me. After working online so much, to me, it feels like sitting in the classroom. I really don't distinguish the difference anymore. And so, when you talk about inspiration, um, I find inspiration in my classroom in the way my students show resilience, curiosity, and growth. Each of my students, I always find this in every class I teach, each of them brings a unique perspective. And honestly, watching them ask, thoughtful questions, challenge the ideas I share with them or the thoughts, and develop, confidence. It always reminds me why teaching matters. I just leave the chat not tired, fully, energized that I want to go and teach more. Seriously. So their energy, truly, and determination always push me to keep just learning myself. And I always tell them I am here to learn along with you. And so, that to me brings the best every day in me and every day in them. And if I could master that in the classroom, then it's a win-win situation. And I know that's going to last longer with them. And, I have to admit, at the end of every session, following those footsteps that I walk every session, I always hear it from students how excited they are. Like this past session, one of my students sent me an email. She told me, "You inspired me so much. I am changing my major to project management." I said, "Awesome." Another one said, "I am going for my PMP in the next 2 months." So, you know,
That's
again,
great.
forging a legacy, changing lives.
I hope they didn't switch from marketing.
I'm sure they did not.
Okay, good. All right. Um, so that leads me to kind of my last meet Dr. Amir question. When you're not teaching at CTU or involved in inspiring students, what are some of your favorite hobbies or what things do you enjoy doing to unwind?
Oh my goodness. I'll tell you, I grew up on a farm, a big farm, like a 50
Oh,
acre
wow.
farm.
That's cool.
Exactly. And I it I could promise you that when I left my hometown, I probably there's some areas in there that I've never even been able to visit. So I like farm work. You'll
That's
find
cool.
me in exactly in my off time. And I wish you were close to see my back and front yards. They look like awesome. They look awesome. So
That's
I
cool.
plant flower. Exactly. I plant flowers. I cut my own grass. I'm always painting. I'm always doing something outside. That is my number one. Aside from scholarly work, right? But I am also self-claimed macroeconomist, and I spent so much time educating myself on that.
That's
Because
cool.
I like globalization and I like the global world, and I am into learning how, economically, how macro, elements impact the world's economy and how I can benefit myself and my community learning about that.
That's pretty cool. I like that as it relates to the price of coffee.
There you go. Yep, that's right.
Well, thank you so much, Amir. It's been fun to get to know you. Even though you're on my team and I talk to you quite a bit in meetings, I don't really feel like I get to know you. So this is a great opportunity, not only for myself, but for our colleagues in the College of Business and Management. So thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me to do this interview.
Well, thank you very much, and I really appreciate